Vince McMahon is no longer fully in charge of his company. Now, for the wrestling business in general, your expertise running your own, what do you think is going through his brain, and what do you feel about this for the wrestling business and the WWE in general?
I don't know. I have a lot of mixed emotions, uh, I don't know. I mean, I really, okay. So a lot of people feel within the business without, you know what I mean, that the wrestling business has changed, become something different. We're no longer selling the same thing, and the audience isn't buying a ticket to believe in those same things. Okay. In wrestling, I mean, there's been this big misnomer, for decades. It's all fake. It's all fake. I can assure you, okay, and I can, for anyone that's listening that's never done it or not been a part of it, there's only one thing that's fake or not real, and that's the intent to win, not lose. That's all ultimately we're really selling. We're really only selling two things. We're selling who we are to you, that you can believe in who we are. Because if you believe in who we are, you'll believe in anything we do. And believing in our intent when we walk out to that ring, that we're coming out there and we're really trying to win. And if we don't win, there's a consequence to it. That has been prevalent and been center point in 1901, 1923, 1963, 1976, 1985, 2010, and 2023. An audience still only wants to believe in two precepts of the wrestling business. They want to believe in who these performers are, and they want to believe in why they're in the ring and that they're genuinely trying to resolve a conflict through a competitive situation. That's it. That hasn't changed. There's not an old or new school of thought, and there's a lot of people that subscribe to that, believe it, really preach it, you know, and here's the problem. If, wrestling's existed for decades in the pop culture, through from the 1900s to the 1920s, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It dipped in different places, different territories, went down, went up. It's always existed. When you intrinsically change what you're selling to your audience, no matter how you justify it, okay, it eventually your audience that's paying to buy, believe in that thing, no longer get what it is you're selling. They're no longer buying it. At some point, it ceases to exist. And I always use, like magic. Magic, we all know magic's not real. Okay. We, at some point, everybody has a zeitgeist, societal wise, realized they're not intrinsically altering reality or defying the laws of physics. What makes a magician successful? Their ability to allow you, the audience, even if it's just for the time, that you're in the performance, you can believe or question what's going on. Okay. There was, I always go back to this. It was about 1962, I think, 61, somewhere in there. Kaminsky Park, it's a baseball stadium in Chicago. Friday night, had an event. It's a professional wrestling event. Pat O'Connor, Buddy Rogers, headlining main event, NWA World Title. 38,000 people attended this event, to watch Buddy Rogers and Pat O'Connor. Okay. What did they sell? They sold only who those wrestlers were and just the precept that it was a competitive situation and there was a consequence to the win or the loss. Saturday night, the very next night, they ran an event that drew 43,000 people. Now, I could be wrong on the exact total of the attendance, but not far off. 43,000 people to Kaminsky Park, a baseball stadium. And what was that event? It was roller derby. Roller derby doesn't exist anymore. And you know why it doesn't exist anymore? Because they started believing that they were smarter than the audience, and they were no longer, they started thinking, well, we're not, the audience doesn't buy or believe all this other stuff, just the outcome. And they started changing intrinsically what it was they sold, and the audience didn't get what they paid to believe in, and therefore roller derby no longer really genuinely on a scale that it used to exists. If we continue down the route that we are going with professional wrestling, inevitably we're going to do the same thing.
Wow. So you're underneath the impression that the WWE selling to Endeavor will create like a corporate environment versus the wrestling corporate environment.
No. It's the performers. You have to understand that at the end of the day, regardless of corporate structure and all of that, the one thing, again, what did I say? The wrestling business is like every other business, and it's like no other business, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy John's, you market your sandwiches. In wrestling, you market your wrestlers. Your sandwiches that are the wrestlers have their own thoughts, their own ideas. Here's the thing. As a promoter, I create a platform. That's all I do. I create a platform to advertise, promote my wrestlers. My wrestlers, the minute they walk through this curtain, it's their responsibility to make themselves a star and attraction. I don't care how they go about doing it. All I care is that they do it. Okay? What's an audience wanting to believe, pay, to forget about? If you're the average person, you have a wife, you have 2 kids, you go to, and we're the only live event that literally, we're in 2023 and it still costs $10 a ticket to go watch. I mean, let's be honest. It's still $40 for an average family, right? Doesn't sound like a whole lot of money, right? When you really think about it, especially if you're single, $40, I'll spend it at the bar, but for that husband with his wife and his kids, and now he's going to have to get concessions. That's another $30. He's going to have to get some merch. He might spend $100. Well, now he wants, you know what he wants? He wants to sit and forget and believe that the wins and the losses really matter. And he can believe in who these people really are, to the point to where he can forget for a moment he's going to have to pay the power bill late because he wanted to take his wife and kids to wrestling.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That's the truth. That he doesn't care about the quality of the match. He doesn't care about, work rate or any of all this other BS that these people come up with. He wants to just forget about his everyday life and live vicariously through everyone that's in the ring. And he wants to care whether or not they win or lose. Because without caring whether they win or lose, he doesn't care about anything else, and he wants to believe so that it makes it worth it for him to forget that now he's going to have to pay the power bill late because he spent the money to come and do this. And we've kind of forgotten that. We've kind of departed from that. Say what they want, but that ultimately is what we've done. And the vast majority of people inside the wrestling business, the talent themselves, no longer perform for that husband that's bringing his wife and kids. They perform for each other, and they try to impress each other. And the more that they pursue that and try to impress each other or some fan, because ultimately that's what they are, just a fan who is writing a report and a critical appraisal of what they did, the more they perform for those select people, the less we're going to garner that audience of the guy who just wants to come out and forget for 2 hours. He just wants to forget all his stresses and his troubles. He wants to believe that he could be a guy in the ring kicking somebody's ass, and getting justice.